I would like to introduce my great. I would like to
You have to
introduce.
speak a little louder. I'm hard of hearing. I'm deaf.
I would like to introduce my great grandmother, Bernice
Tunis.
Mann. She was born on September 28th, 1905. So she will be 95 on Thursday. My great grandmother has
Better put
lived
the
through
date
the
there.
Roaring Twenties, the Great Depression, and 2 World Wars. Today we are going to talk about the Roaring Twenties. Why do you think it was called the Roaring Twenties?
I think it was a time of dancing, the Roaring Twenties, the time of Charleston dancing, and then I think that's where they got the Roaring Twenties from because we did that kind of dancing.
Okay. How old were you?
Oh, I was about 21 or 22, I guess, at that time.
Okay. Where were you living?
In Washington, D.C.
Okay.
where I'm living now. But I wasn't married then.
Okay.
Now I'm been married and have children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and I'm still living in Washington, but not anywhere near where I lived when I was 19, 20.
Okay. Were you still in school or were you working?
I was working for the telephone company as a secretary at that time.
What telephone company were you working at?
It was the Chesapeake and Potomac Telephone Company.
Okay. What did you do for fun in the Roaring Twenties?
What did I do for fun?
Yeah.
I think I did quite a lot of dancing at that time. Every weekend we went dancing. At that time, fraternities and sororities had subscription dances where they would charge a fee of $2 to go to a ballroom dancing. We'd go to the big hotels. They'd have big name bands, and we'd go at 9 o'clock and we'd stay till 2 o'clock and did nothing but dance and dance, the jitterbug, the Charleston. We had a lot of fun, and then we'd end up, everybody'd go down to the Child's Restaurant on Pennsylvania Avenue and at 2 and 3 in the morning and have our breakfast, egg omelets and bacon, sausage. And we'd probably get home at 4 o'clock in the morning, but it was fun.
Anything else that you can think of? Does she have anything she can think of? Does she have anything to
Do you know anything else?
Pardon?
Do you know anything else about the Roaring Twenties?
Oh, let's see. Not very much. It was a different time, of course. You didn't see all the traffic that you see today. And I worked at the telephone company, as I say, and I walked to work, and it was quite a long walk, but we didn't have cars then. And at that time, I had recently moved from Michigan to Washington, and I kidded and said, oh, in Grand Rapids, we didn't have street lights. They had to come around every night and light the street lamps. Then I came to Washington and where I lived, and that's exactly what they did. They had to come around and light each individual street light. And I was telling a tale saying that's the way it was in Michigan, and it wasn't. But in Washington, It was, they had to come around and light each individual light. There were gas lights then. Quite different than what it is today. Everything's automatic, all the lights go on.
What kind of lights did you have in Grand Rapids?
What kind of lights did you have
Did you
in
have in
Grand
Grand
Rapids?
Rapids or Spring Lake?
I don't know, but I guess they had street lights. They didn't have to,
Electric?
I guess, like what they have today, I guess they're electric. But Washington was behind the times. In other ways too, I felt like the schools were behind times in Washington compared to what they were up in Michigan.
How much school?
How much school?
Oh, don't ask me that. When I got a job in the government later, I said lied. I said I was a high school graduate, but I was not. In truth, I didn't even finish the 10th grade. But I passed for a high school graduate, and I got away with it. And I was as smart as others that did graduate. I couldn't have gotten the job I did, I think, unless I was a high school graduate.
I have one more question for you. How long of a walk was it from your house to the telephone?
To the job. Well, it took me about a half an hour. So I don't know, I'd say probably it was a couple of miles. You know, something like that. And then at that same time, in the winter time, they had ice on the Lincoln Memorial pool. And I had ice skates from Michigan because I did a lot of ice skating up in Michigan. So I took my ice skates and walked one night with somebody else, I guess, all the way to the Lincoln Memorial pool, which again was 2 or 3 miles. And I got down there and they closed at 8 o'clock. They didn't go skating at night down here, but in Michigan, we did our ice skating at night. They cleared a lake. We used to go ice skating on a lake, and they had a lounge, a place, a nice warm place with a fireplace where we'd change and put our skates on, and they had plows that cleared a big area on a lake there for us to ice skate. And so I figured when I'd go here, I'd go at night too, but they closed, so I never got to ice skate in Washington, ever. I held on to the skates a while, finally gave them away. But it was fun, ice skating in Michigan.
Okay. Thanks.
That it?
Yep.
Oh, well, thank you for interviewing me. You were a good interviewer. You had a nice smile on your face all the time.
He's shy.
He was very nervous, wasn't he?